cameras, that would be awesome.
All right, we have already 12 people waiting. Okay, you can go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Lori Groman, and I work for Ohio University. With me here today, we have 3 students who are willing and waiting to talk about their experiences at Ohio University. We're calling this session Ask Me Anything. So if you have a question, please feel free to type it in the chat or let us know. We do have some pre-prepared questions, so we will get to those. But first, let's have our students introduce themselves to you.
So my name is Juliana, and I'm a senior here at Ohio University. I'm from Brazil, and I'm studying international business, marketing, and economics.
I'm Eunice Prestojo, and I'm a second-year student here at Ohio University studying nutrition science, and I am from Indonesia.
I'm Anya Datta. I'm a freshman student, and I'm a double major in sociology and psychology.
Awesome, thank you all. So my first question to you is, tell us why you chose Ohio University.
I chose Ohio University personally. I was searching all over, but I saw OU had a great business program. And I also, you hear a lot about the Bobcat family. And I was looking for a place where I would feel home away from home. And you hear a lot about how people love here and you have a family. And so that's what I was looking for. And that's why I chose Ohio University.
The biggest reason I chose Ohio University was because they had the major nutrition science. Not a lot of other universities have that, because I'm pre-med, and so it's weird, like they usually have just the dietetics or pharmacy, but they didn't have a nutrition science where I could be on a pre-med track and also learn nutrition. But also I've heard a lot of good things about Ohio University from other friends and families, and so I thought that I would like fit in from the stories that they told me.
I chose Ohio University for a couple of reasons. The first being that I was interested in a research career, and very few universities have the option of pursuing undergraduate research side by side with your curriculum. And I just think as a psychology major, to be able to do research gets you a really unique perspective on what you're studying. That was my first reason for choosing Ohio University. And the second, and a very important one, was, of course, their commitment to diversity and inclusion. I've been a part of so many groups, and the only thing that stood out to me is the number of people I've met from different backgrounds, communities all over the world that I've had the opportunity to interact with. So those were my reasons for choosing Ohio University.
Thank you. My second question is, what is it like to live on campus?
For my experience living on campus, it was awesome. First of all, I think campus is so pretty, so that's one big thing for me. And I know there's like some kind of apprehension of moving from like your parents' home or wherever you live to a dorm, and people don't know how that's gonna go. But from what I've been through, it was amazing just to get close to people in your dorm. When you share with roommates, to get really close to people here. And I think it's just when you feel, of course, you feel included throughout the 4 years, but that experience of living on campus and also having classes on campus, you feel like you're totally part of this university, and you get really close to people around you. So I think it was awesome for me.
I also had a really good experience with living on campus. It's actually my favorite part. I'm currently not living on campus. I'm off campus, and I'm so sad that it's a different experience, and you just you're way more immersed into university. You just meet people all the time, get close to them, and you have access to the campus facility all the time, and it's close, and so you're always just finding new places to study, and so you're not cooped up in your dorm, which I love. And yeah, it's really beautiful. So you see the sunset walking from one place to the dining hall or something like that, and it's my favorite part living on campus. Yeah.
I haven't had the opportunity to live on campus just yet because I'm an international student too, and I'm from India, and I haven't really gotten to actually go to Ohio as yet. But I do look forward to my time on campus for the next 3 years because I've heard only positive things about the community and how you're able to immerse yourself in a resident culture as well. So I'm looking forward to it just as much as you guys are.
What is there to do outside of campus or outside of classes? What is there to do in the area? What do you guys like to do?
If I would say on campus, there, especially, I don't know if you guys like sports, but there is a number like the gym and court, like basketball courts, tennis courts. There's a beach volleyball, so a lot of people get in there in the summer, and it's great. And also one of my favorite things to do when I was on campus, but outside of classes, I always had this moment with my roommates and close friends that we all went to the dining halls, and that was kind of our hangout, and just of course eat, hang out there. So there's a lot of hangout spots. But I feel outside of campus, Athens is a beautiful place to hike. We have Strouds that is kind of our beach here. So I think if you like nature and if you like just hiking, there are a lot of things. There are little cute shops. So you're not, it's a small town, but you're not gonna run out of options of what to do outside of classes.
One of my favorite things to do is to ice skate. I'm not a really good ice skater or anything, but it's just a fun activity that I love because I don't really like any other sports. But there's also the other rec centers and where we play badminton sometimes, and so that's fun. And they have tons of options. They have a rock a rock climbing wall. Sorry, I forgot the words. Right in the middle of Ping, and it's great. I also love to hike, and around Strouds. There's just so many things to do. I haven't gotten to do all of the things, and there's so many good places to eat, local restaurants and coffee shops. So those I definitely recommend for you to try.
What I've had the most fun doing is participating in some of the various clubs and activities that OU has to offer. And there are some that really help train you to develop leadership skills and to just be a more confident, better version of yourself. It really encourages you to speak up and stand up for yourself. And that's been really, really great. Also, I'm in the debate club, which is my favorite sort of safe hangout comfort zone, at least virtually, because you're allowed to express yourself in the most free and unfiltered form. And in this sort of an environment where you don't really get to do what you'd rather be doing, for me, expressing has been my outlet. And I think there's just so many opportunities to do that, even virtually. So outside of class, there's a whole host of activities you can engage in and that you will have fun in. So yeah.
Okay, we have a few questions that came in, and some of them are related to admissions. So let me just touch on those really quick. One was, do we accept transfer students? And we do. We have a lot of transfer students on our campus, and you still fill out an application and you would send us a transcript of your college or university. So it's a pretty easy process. Then there was a question about international baccalaureate. We do accept IB students, and we do accept IB credit. So if you get a 5 or better on your IB exam, that can equate to college credit. So, and I should specify a higher level exam. So keep that in mind. And to get into Ohio University, you just need to apply. It's online, ohio.edu/apply. There's a question about economics, and we do have economics as a major. We don't have an example of an economics student here, but I bet Juliana took a few classes if you want to talk about that.
I have the economics as my major, and I love it. I think the classes, of course, in the beginning, every business student has to take 2 economic classes that are like the basic ones. And but they get so much more challenging. Now I'm like in a coding class that relates to economics, so they're really good. And I personally, I don't want to work with economics, but I just want it as a major because I enjoy studying and I enjoy my courses. So yeah, they're great.
So are you a double major?
I'm a triple major.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's something here too. You start adding things and you start like talking with your advisor, and you just see like totally a different path, and you can totally make it work. So that's how I made it work, 3 majors, and I'm totally happy with that.
Yeah. So economics, international business.
And marketing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And then we had another question, and I think this is a good one. And I think what they mean is, what is the reaction to international students in Ohio or on campus? Have you guys, felt different, or, how was your reception when you came here?
I felt really home. Students here are not going to make a distinction between you and someone from America. They don't care where you're from. You're going to be as much as a friend as anyone from here. And it's like something that I really like too. People are interested in knowing more about where I'm from. They have questions, and it's not like bad questions with stereotypes or anything. No, they're like genuinely interested in, oh, like how is back home, and they also keep in mind that you're far away from home. So they also try to make you feel home here. And during holidays and stuff like that, that everyone go home, like for example, Thanksgiving, a lot of people will invite you to go back to their families. So they're really welcoming. And I've never felt any kind of difference between me and the American students here at all.
I couldn't agree more with everything that she said. She said it beautifully. And yeah, you feel home, you feel comfortable, you don't feel out of place. It just feels perfect, and you feel like you've been here the whole time, and it doesn't feel like a big change or anything.
Again, my interaction hasn't really been face to face, but even in the virtual scenario, I've made a lot of very good friends with whom I interact on a regular basis, and they've been nothing short of extremely welcoming. And it's almost like, they were your friends even before this whole thing started. So people are just really welcoming, and they were very mindful of the fact that you might also sometimes differ in opinion, and they never let that come between your friendship. And I think that's something that's so important. And yeah, you just make great friends on campus.
Very well said. Thank you. We have a few more questions. One is about scholarships, and what I can tell you is that all admitted students are automatically eligible for scholarships. So once you're admitted, usually within a week or 2, we'll send you information about the scholarship that we can offer you. It's going to be based on your grades from high school or university or college, wherever you're coming from. So they're merit-based scholarships. And then one question here was, how many classes do you have per year?
So during the semesters, I normally have 4 or 5, but because also I think international students, they do have like a minimum credit hours that we need. So I think it's like you take between 4 or 5 each semester. So I would say 11 classes a year. Like that would be an average. But it really depends on your case. Like if you're doing a triple major, double major, it will really depend. But you make it work, especially with your advisors. They help you plan everything so that you manage to do all your work in the semester. It's not going to get overwhelming. So yeah, it really depends.
Yeah, so that's a good point. International students must take at least 12 semester hours to be within our federal regulations, which does equate to about 4 classes. But you want to take that many anyway, because to graduate on time, you need to take 15 hours per semester. So really the 12-hour minimum is, you should be taking more than that anyway. So I would say 5 classes a semester is a good goal. And it's doable. It's very doable. We had a question here about a medical school. I will say, yes, Ohio University does have a medical school. However, in the US, you need to have a bachelor's degree in either biology or nutrition, like Eunice is doing. Maybe Eunice, if you want to talk about that a little bit.
So getting into medical school in the US as an international student, and you're not like a citizen or anything like that, or have any of those kinds of permanent residency status, is pretty hard, first of all, and it's complicated for multiple reasons. But there are universities who accept international students, not a lot, and it's hard to even get interviews. But it's possible, and the Ohio University does have a medical school, and in the US we have MDs and DO medical schools. They're 2 kinds of different ones, but they're not really that different. You learn the same thing. DO just have an added certification for OMM. So you just have to do your research for medical school in the US. It could get longer if I talk more specifically, but if you have any like other specific questions, I guess you can ask me personally if you want.
Yeah, that's, you put it pretty well. It is difficult for international students to get into medical schools here in the US. I mean, it's difficult for US students to get into medical school. So it's just a very complicated process. There's, not only do you have to get your 4-year bachelor's degree, but then you have to take another entrance exam, do really well, and then that would get you into the medical school. So it is quite the process. I believe we should be wrapping this up, and I don't see any more questions. I think we have them all. I'll give it a few minutes, or maybe like 30 seconds, just because I know there's a bit of a delay. So if you have a question, please go ahead and type that in. Here's one more, a Bachelor of Fine Arts. So yes, Ohio University has a College of Fine Art, and that's going to include music, dance, theater, film, and then art and design. So if you're really interested in that art and design, we do have that. And we have, within the College of Art and Design, you can specify whether you want to paint, print make, we have ceramics, 3D sculpture, photography. I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, we have really good programs within our fine arts department. Here's another one, gastronomy courses. If you're talking about culinary arts, we do not have culinary arts. The closest thing might be nutrition, which is Eunice is studying that, but that's more of the science and dietetic side of food as opposed to preparing it yourself.
Can I add that
Yeah.
so for nutrition, there's 3 different tracks, really, the dietetics, the environmental, and the culinary track. I'm not entirely sure about the culinary track, but I'm guessing you would have a lot more like cooking kind of classes, but it's also like more food science related in like what I would think. So yeah.
Great, thanks. Here's another one. Does the university accept international credits? We do. So I will say we do. That's the answer. The flat out answer is yes. We accept credits from other international universities as long as they are recognized by the Ministry of Education or whatever the governing body is from that country. So, which is different in every country. So if you have questions, let me, well, you can always go to the Ohio University booth for this fair, and Vicki Seefelt West should have information about who to contact regarding that. And that's probably your best bet as far as, you know, telling us what university you're attending now and how it will transfer. So that would be my suggestion. Go to our booth, Ohio University, and talk to Vicki.
All right, thank you so much, Lori, and all the international students. Ladies, you did an amazing job. Thank you so much for speaking about your experience. I just have personally one question for Lori. Do you accept the Duolingo English test?
We do, yes. We require a 95 or better on Duolingo.
Awesome. So for those of you students who are interested in Ohio University and need an English test as a requirement, please enter the contest. So we're having a contest where you can win a free Duolingo English test. So that is a requirement. And again, as Lori mentioned, make sure you go to the exhibitor booth for Ohio University, and you can send a message to Vicki over there if you have any further specific questions about the university. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.